Now back to the soluble fiber. Okay, the soluble fiber, when you start chewing, okay, it starts gelling with the saliva. Okay, and when it gets to your stomach, it starts binding with more water and becomes a gel. Okay, and once it has become a gel, the gastric emptying, it stays in your stomach longer. Okay, if you take a juice, it will leave your stomach very fast. But if you take a fruit, it takes longer because the fiber will hold it together. Now, the soluble fiber is the one which becomes a gel. Okay, the gastric emptying gets slower, which means your stomach is full. Your brain keeps telling you don't eat any further food. You're still full. Okay, the moment it leaves your stomach, the brain will give you a signal to go eat more. And this is how the GLP-1 works as well. Okay? So it stays in your stomach long, number one. Number two, once it gets to the small intestine, it starts binding FCS, fat, cholesterol, and sugar. This doesn't happen with insoluble fiber, only happens with soluble fiber. It binds the sugar molecule, okay? Wraps it around, prevents absorption into the liver. Okay? So you get the sugar taste in your mouth, but not in your tummy. It binds the sugar molecule, okay? And prevents absorption. Same thing with fat and cholesterol. Not just from the food, but also from the food, from the bile which is coming from the liver. Okay? So the liver fat, it's there in the bile acid, and the bile acid gets, this will bind the fat and cholesterol and takes it away into the large intestine. Okay, so first thing, it prevents absorption of fat, cholesterol, and sugar into your liver, in the small intestine. Then in the large intestine, the soluble fiber, which is also known as prebiotic, starts fermenting in your gut. It ferments and becomes a feed for your gut microbiomes. Okay, so you know the term prebiotic and probiotic. Probiotic is the gut microbiome. The gut microbiome thrives. They will multiply because you're feeding them with the prebiotic, which is soluble fiber. Okay, and once the gut microbiome becomes greater in quantity, your mucosa layer, the mucus layer in your gut lining, and that is what the leaky gut. So the mucus layer gets thicker. Okay, and then, so that is what I knew. And then you had a great bowel movement. So your constipation also goes away. So it is an absolute cleanser. So you have, from mouth to gut, the soluble fiber keeps you full longer because of the gel formation, and it absorbs fat, cholesterol, and sugar and takes it away from your body. So the absorption goes down. Then it becomes a feed for the gut microbiome, and the gut microbiome then protects your body. Now, that is all I knew while I was traveling on the diabetes journey. Okay. Then with the fatty liver study, which the preclinical, which just got published in Nature Scientific Reports, there Dr. Divya Kumar was able to find out what happens after it reaches the gut. Okay. From there, we could find out that one of the short chain fatty acids, which is during fermentation, the 3 short chain fatty acids, one of them, propionate. Propionate travels through the gut to the liver through the portal vein. Okay, and then it upregulates an enzyme called AMPK. And upregulating AMPK, the impact is it starts metabolizing visceral fat in your liver and all your adipose tissues. Okay, so you have on the small intestine, it prevents absorption of fat, cholesterol, and sugar. And in the large intestine, it triggers a mechanism to metabolize your fat in the deposited fat. And that is the reason why the latest case of reversal, we have seen grade 2 fatty liver reversing to grade 0 in 6 months without weight loss or inch loss, which is still, there's a lot more to investigate and learn from this. Okay? So the soluble fiber is the hero ingredient here, not the insoluble fiber. And I was brought to that knowledge from somebody who traveled from Switzerland to Kerala to meet me, and then told me, James, focus on the soluble fiber. And that is when I realized, okay, look, this is what makes the jackfruit fiber different than a fiber from wheat or any other vegetable.